that was late won't be added, but I am going to share some value for Andy Roberts. If he wants it, I'm going to show him how to make some free money, but if not, no. Oh well. Okie dokie. There we go. Bless them. Okay, cool. So first of all, got to do my little disclaimer. So I am not a financial advisor. All investment comes with risk. Anything you say on this show will be used for educational and entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research. If you are in need of a financial advisor, I can point you to one. I'm working with several financial advisors. I do not claim to be or intend to be perceived as a financial advisor. Again, please do your own research. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. These bastards haven't hacked me, have they? Let me just stop the share, just in case. Okay, I know what happened. Nah, it's just Canva playing up. Let's go again. Let's go again. Sorry about that delay, guys. Had some bless them. And if you use Wall Street Bets, you'll get a lot of scrotes like that, and you'll get a lot of racist ones as well, which is another reason why I'm so pro for sharing this information for free, because, yo, it can't only be a certain type of people making money out here. So I'm just going to reload up Canva. Bear with me a sec, guys. Okay, we're in. Share my screen again. Okay, perfect. Now you should be able to see my screen. Just comment in the chat if you can see my screen. Ooh, 25 today. Jeez. Yeah, cool. Right, perfect. Let's get crack-a-lacking then. So, okay, perfect. So the first thing I wanted to share with you guys is just understanding sectors. So we kind of skipped past doing this week's earnings reports, because the only decent earner this week is actually what they called Spotify. Haven't really noticed any others. I'm not too sure if this has come out clear on your end, but I'm going to give you the ticker symbols anyway, so you can go and research them and have a look at them. Now, these are the different sectors, and this is what most Wall Street analysts are going to be looking at when it comes to stocks on a weekly basis at a minimum anyway. This is just so you can see what potential industries might affect your current investments or help you to find new entries for new investments. So the first one is XLC, which is the communication services industry. They're actually up 26% this year. Then we have XLY. Now this one's quite popular. This one is consumer discretionary. So this is just basically consumeristic things. So people purchases of things for entertainment and leisure, basically, and that's XLY. Next one is XLP, and this is consumer staples. So this is more necessary items, so things that people need and rely on, be it toilet paper, be it pasta, stuff like that. I think that food comes under consumer staples in some categories. Then we've got energy, which is XLE. Fairly obvious, that one's actually down 32%, I think, this year, but we'll check that again. XLF, which is financials. Next is XLY, which is the health. No, XLF is financials. XLV is healthcare. Then XLB, materials. XLRE is real estate. XLK, technology, my personal favorite, and then XLU is utilities. Now, what the image that I've got for you next is shows you how they correlate against each other. So the lower the number, so say for example, this 0.05 here in the right-hand corner, the lower the number, the more it does the opposite of the thing that you're looking at. So we can see here, energy and utilities do the total opposite thing, basically. So if you're investing in something in the energy industry, then it's and that's going up, then the utilities investments that you may have may go down. Now, the closer they are, it means the more that they tie in together. So we can see here XLY, if you're invested in, so if you're invested in consumer discretionary, it tends to go up if communication services goes up as well. So another one that's really, really low, let's find another really low one, is this one here at 0.19. So that's if utilities are down, industrials tend to do really well. So let's go and have a look at that on the charts and see how that's actually played out. Let's see. So I've got my IG up here. If we look at the sectors, so here on the weekly, and again, the reason I do weekly is because it gives you a better view of what is actually happening on that chart. Daily won't give you the whole view and the whole understanding of what's happening. So we had energy, which is this one. So we can see energy monthly has been down quite a while. I'm just going to get rid of the MACD. I'm going to get rid of all these things because they'll be a bit confusing for a brand new person for now. So cool. So we can see energy has been down for a long time. Just hide this as well. So almost since 1st of April 2014, the energy market has been down. So based on what we just saw, that should mean that utilities should have been up. And what do we see? Especially if we go to monthly, what's been happening? It's been up. So you can see there that they correlate with each other really well. Now we can see because of this timing here, this bounce on the trend line, that this might be a good entry for any utilities based stocks. So again, we've got this moving average, which I'm going to talk about later. The moving average is actually in line with the trend line. So that's a good sign that it's going to move up. So we'll just ask the question there. Like Ryan Blockchain doing numbers this week. Yeah, and again, why is utilities and energy related to crypto? Because they use a lot of energy. The more Bitcoin that's mined, the more energy it's going to use up. So that's how those two tie in there. So any more questions on that, get on to me and I'm happy to go through that in a little bit more detail. Cool, so let's carry on. Okay, cool. So breaking down crypto. So one of the cryptos that I was breaking down and doing my research on was one that I actually was proposed to buy in 2014, I think. some guy invited me to a meeting about Dash, believe it or not. So that was a very, very long time ago, but I was very anti-crypto at that stage, and I've paid the price for that, literally. So the shift to retail crypto payments, cryptocurrency has incited a global rush of exciting new advancements, most notably across the payment industry. Now, what's happening at the moment is because of people being locked up, from staying at home, more people than ever have got time to research about cryptocurrency. And there's more YouTubers and people that are online on socials like myself that are actually now showing people things about cryptos, which really didn't really exist 5 years ago. There wasn't really this many communities. Now, what's happened with the crypto space is it is volatile. And a lot of people tend to say that crypto is a risky investment, especially Bitcoin. But I think there's a key difference to understand between risky and volatile. Volatile just means it goes up and down, whereas risky means it goes down, it goes bankrupt, it's over. I personally don't believe that the crypto space can be killed now. I just don't think it's just so necessary. It would be like trying to put the internet back in the bottle now. Like, it's just too used now for it to ever go backwards. Now, again, cryptocurrency has got a massive volatility, and one of the main reasons for it is transaction times, and also transaction fees is what one of the kind of problems is with it at the moment. And then you could say security, depending on how you want to look at it. But cryptocurrencies are going to rise as companies adopt them as a payment solution. So I got some notes on what Dash are doing with cryptocurrency, and it's pretty impressive stuff. So Dash, so they're fast and open. They're in partnership with American Eagle, AutoZone, Best Buy, Chili's, CVS, Domino's, DoorDash, Gap, Lowe's, Staples, and 200 more retail outlets. Now, one of the things that they did as an initial approach was just simply convince these lenders to actually just treat the Dash token like a gift card, which, if you think about it, how big is the gift card market? It's untapped. And that is basically the same thing as a token. Like, let's say, for example, HMV released a coin, that would be the same really as being a token, but they didn't clock onto that, and they should have done it earlier, because you could have done a HMV coin and then you could have got access to free events and gigs and whatever. But they didn't think about that. So one of the things Dash is actually adding this year is they're actually adding the Dash Cloud, and which I think anything with blockchain and cloud, as we're going to see later when I talk about SIA, is a massive, massive thing to look at. They're actually up 282% on buying, on the amount of people that have bought them, and their growth is 113% year on year. My personal price target for Dash is 1,500. That's the price that I think it's going to get to, and I'm going to get onto how I calculate my price targets in a second. Cool. So that's a little bit about Dash. Moving on. So mobile payment processing revenue. Just think to yourself, when was the last time you used cash? Just honestly, when was the last time you had more than £200 in cash, or you received change for more than £50 in cash? It probably didn't happen, because you're doing it all on your phone, and during lockdown, everyone's been doing everything on their phones. So we can see in the US, mobile payment processing revenue has been increasing dramatically from 339.5 billion to almost double that of 885.4 billion, and now 2020 has definitely surpassed that. So we can see in 2016, a lot of people using credit cards, only 18% of people were using e-wallets, whereas now it's around 46% of people are using e-wallets over using their cash cards, as we can see. So I'm not gonna let any. Oh, Leon, let's let Leon back in. Pablo. mouse is gonna have to wait. Sorry. So yeah, Q1 revenues increased. Some of the world's major companies with large retail branches accepted crypto too. Companies like Subway, Microsoft, Shopify, Expedia, and Overstack. So we can see it's becoming accepted mainstream. So in a second, I'm going to show you when we look at why Tesla, it'll all lead to something. I'm going to show you why Tesla have bought Bitcoin and what it means for these companies when it comes to tax and tax avoidance, which is a complete doozy when we get into it. So retail purchases using Bitcoin keep rising along the total Bitcoin transactions. It's actually up 2,000%. Now, suffice to say, cryptocurrencies can't survive within a vacuum, and the rise of e-payment offers a solution to the problem of this. So basically, the more retail that gets on board, the better. The more corporations that get on board, the better. So now let's break down this whole Tesla thing. So first of all, we looked at what happened with ARK last week. We was looking at Bitcoin on ARK, and ARK have done the research to suggest that more and more companies are going to start adopting Bitcoin on their balance sheets, just because it's a lucrative asset that grows in value. And let's understand what this is. Let's say, for example, you've got 100 billion in cash reserves, and you just use 1% of that, being 1 billion, to convert it to cryptocurrency, in this case, Bitcoin. If that 1% is 1 billion and the price of Bitcoin goes from 50,000 to 150,000 because of you being a big player and influencing the market, and other big players decided to do the same thing, you've just made 2 billion. Just doing what? Absolutely nothing. There's 2 billion you can add to your assets and revenues in a year just from a small investment. Now, if it goes down, this is where it gets very interesting. This is where earnings, and this little sentence here, which those young kids should have definitely stayed on there because they're not going to learn about this anywhere, is indefinite impairment. Now, as you know, I'm a bit of a nerd, and I like my research, and I love my earnings reports, and I love my SEC filings. Now, on the SEC filing for Tesla in their latest earnings report, they actually put this here. In January 2021, we updated our investment policy to provide us more flexibility. To be part of the policy, we may invest a portion of such cash in certain specified alternative reserve assets. La da 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 da. Therefore, we invested in aggregate 1.5 billion in Bitcoin under this policy. Moreover, we expect to partially, on a limited basis, we may or may not liquidate upon receipt. Digital assets are considered indefinite lived intangible assets. Okay, so now let's go to Google and find out what an indefinite intangible asset is. Let me just see the chat, what anyone said. Okay, cool. So indefinite intangible assets. Let's have a look, see. Give me a sec. Let's just minimize this. And what does it mean? Indefinable. And you can be dyslexic to type this, because I am, and I found out this. Indefinable. Assets. No, I typed it wrong. Let me just go back to this, the word. Indefinite intangible. That's it. Indefinite. Let's just make sure I'm typing the right thing. impairment. That's it. Sorry, looking for the wrong thing. On intangible assets. Indefinite impairment. Okay, cool. So this brings you to this website here. So key terms, impairment, when the carrying value exceeds the fair value. What can that possibly mean? So this little website just breaks down some different terms within accounting. But what we're looking for is indefinite life impairment. So in accounting, intangible assets are defined as non-monetary assets that cannot be seen, touched, or physically measured. Under US GAAP, intangible assets are classified purchased versus internally created intangibles and lifetime versus indefinite life intangibles. So right there, I'm going to keep going. An impairment cost must be included under expenses when the carrying value of a non-current asset exceeds the recoverable amount. The impairment cost is calculated as carrying value recoverable amount. So what does this mean in English? An impairment cost, which is the cost of your asset, can be included under expenses. So that means that you can say that if Bitcoin goes down, that's actually an expense. Yeah. So let's say, for example, Tesla, and again, we'll bring up the numbers so we can see it. I hope this is starting to make a bit of sense. It's a mad play. A mad play that so many people aren't going to pick up on. Okay, cool. So we'll go to investor relations. We go to the Q latest report. So that's where you get the SEC filing, where I got those little snippets from. Okay, cool. So we want to look at the revenues of Tesla quarter by quarter, and we'll get a bit of a better idea of what I'm talking about, what they're going to do. Okay, cool. So automotive revenues, net cash. We want total revenues. Okay, cool. So here's their total revenues, right? And then here's their operating expenses. Let's say from this 1.5 billion that they've got, the value of their Bitcoin goes down to 750, right? Goes down to 750. That could mean that they can put this here or here from their income from operations and lower their income from operations, which would mean that they pay less tax. So they pay less tax if Bitcoin goes down. Now, also what it would mean is it would mean that their earnings reports look absolutely terrible. So their earnings reports would look like they're not making any money whatsoever. However, for those that would realize, hang on a minute, no, they're still making money, because what you would do is you would look at their automotive revenues, not at their operating expenses and their income from operations. You'd be like, there'd be a massive gap here, which there's a bit of a gap here. So wouldn't surprise me if Tesla have already been doing this. So yeah, so they avoid paying tax basically. Now, the other additional play of this is that, let's say it went down by 1.75. What does this say here? Expenses when the carrying value of a non-current asset exceeds the recoverable amount. So what does that mean? That means that if it went down from 1.5 to 750, that additional 750, guess what they can do with it? They can now add it to their total revenues. So then they can just make their revenues look like they're booming. And this is, again, choice. Because if the other place that they can file it is just under their assets. So if it goes over the price that they paid for it, it now becomes an asset instead of it being on their expenses. So if Bitcoin goes down, more than likely Tesla's share price will go down, even though they're making the same amount of money. I hope you're understanding what I'm saying here. So if now that Tesla owns Bitcoin, if the price of Bitcoin goes down, it makes it look like Tesla's not making any money, which would mean a lot of investors would get out of it, which would mean you're getting a fucking bargain on Tesla if you can do this little maths and look at how much Bitcoin's gone down and if it's affected their total revenues and affected their income from operations. You'd be getting basically buy one, get one free on Tesla, pretty much, if Bitcoin goes down. Now, if Bitcoin goes up, however, this money is then added to their assets, which then makes their assets to liabilities look way better. Cool. So let me just see in the chat. You have to be down with completing your corporation tax to class it as an expense. Does the value you have to be down when completing your corporation to class it as an expense? Yeah. So it has to be down. If it's not down, then it can't be listed as an expense. But if it's the moment it goes over the price that you originally bought it for, it's now an asset. And this is again why you shouldn't be getting in and out of trades, because you're paying tax on the closure of a trade. If you're registered as a business, you can actually talk to a good accountant and they'll be able to register your cryptocurrency as an asset if you're not selling it, which means that you're not paying tax on it because you haven't got it as cash. It's an intangible asset. Little tax play there for you. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. If you want to talk to a financial advisor, then I can point you in the direction of one. Cool. So hope that was a bit of an eye-opener for you all. Cool. So let's go to the next slide. So now we're going to just quickly go through understanding how to actually read these charts, because for me, this is important that people know how to do this. So we're going to go over the basics, and then we're going to get it more complicated as we go along. So bear with me. Okay, cool. So this is a Zoidberg. Went too far there. So the reason I've got potential, patience, and persistence is because this is what you need to win in trading and investing. If you don't have patience and persistence, you might as well just stop. Just don't waste your time. Okay, cool. So last week we covered the difference between long holds, of the true difference it makes of holding for a long time versus getting in and out of your trades. And we saw that the return difference of getting in and out of your trades versus holding over a 5-year period can equal to around 2,000%. So you probably don't want to get in and out of trades. You probably want to just find some things that you hold for the long term. So when we're looking at something for the long term, what is long-term view? That is looking at something on the 5-year chart or the yearly chart. It's not a long-term view if you're not looking at it on more than a year. Now, what we have is we have the medium swing. So this is this period of time. So this is, if say for example, this is the 5-year chart, a medium swing low, this is like 2 to 3 years of action, which is, this is the Bitcoin chart, by the way. And then a short swing would be a year in that time period or a few months in that time period, if you ever hear that terminology. Now, what causes these swings is the different phases of the market of a stock. So you have the accumulation phase. This is where the people that have been doing their research on it before it's pre-IPO or before its initial coin offering, they're doing their research, trying to figure out what's going on with it. They're the ones in the know, doing the research, getting in early. This is the accumulation phase. Now, when it becomes public and it becomes a little bit more mainstream, which is similar to what's happening with Bitcoin, although, again, like we noted last week, the Bitcoin Google searches is nowhere near what it was at 2017. So it's not the public buying up the Bitcoin. It's actually the big scale investors. So that's the absorption phase, which is what happens here, where you have the biggest amount of gains going. Now, then you have the distribution phase, and this is where early investors tend to get out and take their profits. So they won't get out completely, but they will take some profit, then get back in at a later point. And this is why from there, a stock or a crypto will go up and down depending on new features and earnings reports. Okay, cool. So the first thing in looking at a chart is really understanding this here. This is probably one of the most important things you can understand, is understanding what a support level is. So I'm going to show you this in a second on the chart. Now, a support level is the bottom of a chart where it keeps hitting the same price. So I'm going to use this blue dot as a bouncy ball. So let's say this is the price. And again, you want to do this on the long-term view first, on the 5-year, then the 1 year, then the monthly, then the daily view, just so you've got it marked up so you can actually see the story of what's actually happening. So the price comes down, and let's say this is £1,000, right? And then it came up, and then it got down to £1,000 again, but it bounced straight back up. That would be a support level. Now, resistance, let's say right now we're facing a resistance of the 50K resistance. The price would come up, hit 50K, come down, hit 50K again, and then come down. Now, at this point, when it comes to a resistance, what we can have is called a breakout. So a breakout is where it breaks above the resistance level. And because everyone's looking at the same chart and seeing that it's broken above a resistance level, guess what happens? Shitloads of people put money in and boom. So if you can spot a resistance level that looks like it's got good momentum behind it for it to break it, that is an ideal buy point. Or getting a buy off the base of a support, because if it's base dropped off the support once and then twice, and then you see an indication of it moving up, what you want to do is you want to get it past this point here and then ride it all the way up. Cool. So next is understanding candles. So you'll probably see candles all the time, and people always ask me to break down what the candles are and how they work. Let me just hide this. Okay, so let's break down these candles. So the candle opening price, so you got the different colors first. So you got your green and your red. So your candle represents the time frame. So let's say, for example, we was looking at this on the daily. This would mean that in a day, the price opened here and closed here. However, during that day, the price went up to here and then closed here. So let's say that this is a candle on a day that represents, let's go actually even better. This is a monthly candle. So we're looking at the Bitcoin on a monthly. And let's say this bottom here is 20,000. This is 30,000. This is 40,000. This is 50,000. So it would mean that it opened the start of the month at 20,000. It went up to 50,000, but it closed at 40,000. And in that same month, it also went down, but also closed at 40,000. Hope that's making sense. So that could be how you'd read it on a monthly, but it's also the exact same way that you would read it on a daily. So it would mean in that day, the price opened here, it went all the way up here, it also went all the way down here, but it closed that day here. Okay, cool. So next is your moving averages. So your moving averages tell you different, give you different context on the average price within that time zone. So let's say, for example, we're looking at the moving average for the one that's the most popular is the 200-day moving average. And this is because it gives you the big long term. So this is why people tend to sell if the price goes below the 200-day moving average. You will get it's almost guaranteed. If the price goes below a 200-day moving average, it's going down. If it goes above the 200-day moving average after a retracement or a pullback, it's very likely that it's going to fly up. Now, then you have your medium moving average, which is for your kind of 10 days to 3 months period. But you can get that on the 90-day moving average, on the medium one. So this is the 50-day moving average you'd look at for medium term And then for short term, you look at the 20-day moving average. Cool. And again, I'll go over that with anyone that wants me to go over it with them. Okay, so cool. So now you chart patterns. So there is tons of chart patterns. These are just the most popular ones. There's probably about 100 and odd chart patterns, but you don't need to learn them all. You only want to learn the ones that are the most common. So the ones that are the most common are a flag, a double bottom, a double top. That's pretty much it, really. Ascending triangle is pretty obvious to see. And then you also have head and shoulders, but that's a bit more advanced. And you also have cup and handle, which is slightly more advanced, but it'll make a bit more sense in a second. So a bull flag is basically where the price has come up, but this is where people have sold. So what's happened is people have got in here, price has gone up, people have sold and taken profits, and now the price is going down because the sellers are actually now making more money because people are selling their position. And then people are like, oh, it's gone down to the price that I wanted to buy it at. So then it goes back up. Very similar to a bull pennant and very similar to a measured move up. Next is our cup and handle. So if you remember what we spoke about the support and resistances, just imagine the support along the bottom and then the resistance just along the top. So you can see these two peaks are more or less the same at the same point. Just where it peaks over, that's where people are taking their profit because it's a breakout pattern. So it's broken above this new price. And that's normally on the highest high. Then we've got our rising valleys and our symmetrical triangles and our ascending triangles. Now, these are basically just bounces on a trend line. I refer to my symmetrical triangles and my ascending triangles and the rising valleys the same way that I refer to my double bottoms. So a double bottom is just 2 touches or more. 3 touches along the bottom is a triple bottom on either the trend line or the support line. So you can see, let's say, for example, again, the price hit 10K, went up to 30K, came down, hit 10K again, went up, and then broke out of the resistance and actually went past 30K. So that's how you spot a double bottom. Cool. Then you've got some candle patterns. So candle patterns in terms of, again, you don't need to learn all of them. The main ones that I would learn are the ones that indicate momentum. So what does it mean by they indicate momentum is my ones are that I look for is a shooting star and a hammer and dojis. So those are the main 3 that I look for. And then also black crows and 3 white soldiers. So I just call them stairways to heaven or stairways to hell. Quite obvious. So just basically stairways to hell and a gravestone doji with a hammer. So basically just think it this way. If the hammer is hitting the crows, then you're going to end up in your grave. So these are the 3 candle patterns that you need to look out for. If you see these, that's a big sell-off. That means a lot of people are selling and the price just isn't coming your way. Now, the exact opposite can also happen. The price opened here, went all the way down, but then it supported itself and it just stayed at the top. Cool. Okay, cool. Altcoins. Let's talk about these altcoins. And then I'm going to open up the mics in a bit. Okay, so altcoins, the first one is GRT.com. So what did I write about GRT? GRT, the graph. Let's have a look at these as well. See what people are saying on the chat. Bum, 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 bum. Yeah, Jason is a master of charts, so connect with Jason. He's on the Facebook group. If you want someone to help you out with your charts, he's the Jedi. Why is this not letting me come out of this now? Oh, well, I was meant to be saving that for the end. Well, I was saving that for the end as a gift. but you've all seen it now. So you might as well take that one down. Rich, this is kind of for you. It's another cannabis ETF, just to give you exposure to all of them instead of being exposed to just one. You can see the weighting there on those ETFs as well. It's got Canopy Growth in there. It's got Grow Generation. It's got Organigram, which I've heard of, and Aurora. So giving you exposure to the whole market instead of just one individual cannabis stock. So what we were doing is we were looking at, I'll go back to the chart patterns later, don't worry. Yeah, let's just look at the cannabis index in comparison to Okay, cool. So now that we're talking candles, we can see what's happened here. Look at the price that it got up to on the monthly. On the daily. So it hit a high and it's come crashing down. And then let's compare this to, but now that we've just talked about candles, what can you potentially see here? If anyone's noticed, that looks like a double bottom. The moving averages to it, what could be potentially about to happen. So we'll look at that, and then we'll look at Canopy. It's done basically the same move, but Canopy's actually hit the moving average. Cool. Just thought I'd share that with you. So yeah, we're looking at coins now, aren't we? So coin market cap. Let me just read the comments. Yeah. Who's that said add me to? If you hold Dogecoin, don't add me. Yeah, I co-sign that. Okay, cool. So right. So now we are looking for the first one that we was looking for, was it? Oh yeah, the graph. GRT. So basically, from what I understand about GRT, is they are pretty much like the Canva for cryptocurrencies. So very similar to Polkadot, where their whole use case and point is to be easy for people to get access to, and easy for corporations to just come in, use their website, and use their blockchain technology to just start building on the blockchain. That's pretty much what they're doing. However, what they've done is they've done it so that you can literally cut and paste someone's pre-existing blockchain capabilities and build your own off it, exactly like Canva. So imagine on Canva, everything's already just pre-done for you. So I'll just show you Canva. So Canva, you've got, just search the type of thing that you're after. So whether it's a poster, video presentation, a document, a brochure, a Zoom virtual background, book cover, a worksheet, a postcard, you name it, a YouTube video ad, you name it. Now, imagine this for businesses, but on the blockchain, but actual blockchain uses. So whether that's HR, whether that's balance sheets, whether that's inventory sheet, I'm on mute. Okay, safe, bro. Safe, 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 safe. So this is GRT versus US dollar on Coinbase. So we see it's come down ever so slightly, but then if we go 6 months, we'll be able to see a little bit better that this was a really nice support level here. You see it? And it's just bounced off this and it's come back up. And that's if we look at it on a smaller time frame. But again, for me, I quite like that as a potential entry. So let me just draw that in. So this would now be my support line. And this is the line that, this is the price that I would be comfortable with GRT dropping down to if it was to drop. Cool. And in fact, I'd actually want it to drop because then that'd be a really clear double bottom, triple bottom even, that would give it more momentum. And then what you'd want to do is you want to add indicator. Where's the indicators on here? Oops, sorry guys. Go volume. Whoa. So I like to use the CCI or the standard volume. So we'll just get rid of. Oh boy, I've just made this messy. Okay, so CCI quite high. CCI is very similar to volume, but you can see volume just behind here, and it's quite low at the moment. So there isn't a lot of people trying to sell it. So that's okay on that one. So that's GRT. Next one is SIA. Now SIA, I'm actually going to start using this regardless of the coin. I don't care. I'm going to use it. So what is SIA? SIA is a blockchain technology that allows data storage. Why has no one thought of that before? When I first heard about this coin, I was like, what? Why is no one? I thought that's how Dropbox and all them guys and Google Drive would have been working anyway. Come on. It's like the best use case ever. Who doesn't use cloud storage? And why would you not want cloud storage on the blockchain? It's more secure. It's more reliable. It's a great price on it at the moment as well. So I'm going to be purchasing this literally after this call. I'm just using this call to do my analysis on it and get a few people's opinions on it. So yeah, this is their website. It's ranked 81. Just bring them up. SIA coin in comparison to US dollar. We did it against Coinbase last time, didn't we? So you want to stick to the same platform, otherwise it will skew your results a little bit. Yeah, we'll go Binance. Okay, cool. So again, we've got a nice trend line here. Yeah. So this is in 2 hours. We want the 1 hour. So each candle represents 1 hour. And we want the last 3 months. Okay, that's a bad habit. I'm so sorry. So you start off with the long term. So the long term of SIA is this. So the potential resistance point, it's gone past it here already. So wherever it is now, it can break that. The next high is literally the IPO high, which is the all-time high all the way up here. So I could put in a line for that. So that's its all-time high. So that's already where the price can get up to in our favor. Okay, cool. So that's the 5 year. So now if we break it down to the 1 year, really nice uptrend here. And we can see based on those phases that we was talking about before, what can we see what phase that we're in right now with this? Really nice trend line here. So now we're marking the trend line. So based on this long-term trend line, I would say it can potentially drop a little bit further on this. Now, what I would want to see is the moving average. It's not even set properly. Moving average on this is pants. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm quite happy with that to come down to, I'd want to get it here. So let's just put in the trend line. Oh, yeah. So for me, that would be the ideal price there. So we can see a beautiful support, 1, 2, 3, loads of little touches there. So if we break this down onto a 1 hour, and we go daily. It's going to trying to bring me the 1 minute chart. We go 15 minutes. Really nice touches there on SIA. In fact, I think that's already gone up now. So yeah, that's already starting its recovery. As we can see, if you wanted to zoom in closer, you could get a secondary trend line there on the short term, but I wouldn't bother with that. That's too short term to look at. But yeah, SIA on the way up. So SIA's website. SIA's website not working for me. Let's just quickly see. Oh, you can change coin market cap to GBP. Oh, you can. Oh, and I don't like doing it on GBP. That's my thing with crypto. I do not like doing things via GBP, just because most platforms I'm researching and looking at, everyone talks in USD, so it just messes me up. Then having to try and convert the numbers in my head, so I just do it via USD. That's how I do everything. So then, next one on the list, the final one was, I don't know, Jason, are you the same? Do you prefer looking at things against USD or? So the next one that I'm looking at, it was going to be NEM. Oh yeah, it is NEM. Why have I put XEM? So on my list, I'll read you out my list of coins that I've looked at. If you want a pen and paper and you want to take this list of coins that I've looked at, and we can discuss at another time. So Flare for the Spark token for Ripple, Dash, which I've already mentioned, Neo, Win, VeChain, Waves, EWT, Ox, 1inch, Quantum, SIA, SNX tokens, synthetics, CVC. Those are the ones that I've looked at. Okay, cool. So the one, I've typed this wrong. I'm so sorry, anyone that's looking for XEM. That is not what I was talking about. It was NEM. So let's just go back to this. Okay, cool. Oh, what up, what up, what up? Whoever's joined us late. Sorry I didn't let you in. I had some hackers try and hack me earlier. So let's go NEM. Okay, cool. So facts on NEM. So NEM, basically, NEM is the 7th largest by market cap, apparently. It's ranked 24. Don't know if that fact of it being 7th largest by market cap is still correct. To become a node, you just need to hold 10,000 NEM, which is quite a small amount to become a node. When you look at it, and especially considering the price, it wouldn't cost you that much to become a node. It would cost you what? Someone do the maths on that, please. If it's, you'd have to convert 39 cents to pounds, and then that'd be about 30p. And if you need 10,000 coins, 10,000 times 30p. What's that? 3 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about 3 grand. About 3 grand to become a node, which is crazy. And then also to become a super node, you only need 3 mil, which is around 300,000. So the way that they work is it was 12 cents in March 2015, and it's gone up massively. It's similar to Dash, where it has no miners. So what happens is you only have harvesters. So the nodes confirm transactions. So if you basically become a node in this, you confirm transactions and you harvest new coins. So it uses 100 times less electric to send coins in comparison to Bitcoin. So one of the things that I've noticed is that Bitcoin and Ethereum aren't that efficient, and they are going to be in a lot of trouble as blockchain and technology evolves over, not now, but in about 10 years time. A lot of people are going to move away from Bitcoin and from Ethereum once it becomes a bit more mainstream. And I think NEM is one of those to look out for, just in terms of the fact that it's 100 times faster than Bitcoin. And it costs 1 cent per 100 cents for a transaction, which is ridiculous. So there's no possible inflation because the supply is actually complete. So they've actually given out all the tokens already. So it just means that, yeah, it's a very, very different concept. So the value can only really go up based on usage. And it's actually the second largest and most used cryptocurrency in the whole of Japan. And it's 6 seconds versus Bitcoin's 2 minutes 30 to send, which that's crazy. And it's 100% traceable. It's actually an alternative to Visa. And in terms of transactions, how many does it do per second? It does 3,000 transactions per second in comparison to Bitcoin doing 5 or 6 per second. So again, this is why for me, the fundamentals on this are just phenomenal. So yeah, that is pretty much the end of the call. Let's just mark up NEM on here, and then we'll open up the mics for some questions. NEM versus USD. We'll go this one again. Okay, cool. So NEM versus USD. Let's look at, first of all, where are the, clearly look at that for support. So that's about as clear of a support as you're going to get. Look at all this. Came up, touched, 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 flying up now. So this would have been, so an amateur would have seen this and gone, no, NEM's going down in value, I can't get in. Whereas a pro would have gone, all right, and then loaded the boat here and got more. And that's the difference between long-term holders and short-term people that don't look at the charts and don't really know how to read the charts. So this is where you would have sold though. If the price went below here, then you could have sold. Then it's advisable to sell. But why would you sell if it's very likely to go back up? So right now though, we've got a potential breakout that could happen because there's a bit of a high here. So a very interesting point here, about 41 cents. Start looking at that around there. Okie dokie. So I'm going to open up the mics and take some questions for 10, 20 minutes. For ease of GP for when I need an ego boost to motivate me. I like that. I like that. Okay, cool. So let's just open up the mics. A sec. Participants. Allow participants to unmute themselves. Yes. Okay, cool. Right, someone see if they can unmute themselves.
Hello, can I go first?
Yes, fire away, man. Like.
Okay, so could I ask you, what is your altcoin sniping strategy? How do you even come across an altcoin to be interested? And then what are your processes in in, saying to yourself if this is a good investment or bad investment?
Okay, so for me, first of all is use case. In terms of, well, actually I've answered it backwards there. So how do I find out about my altcoins is literally the same way that I find out about my different stocks, which is plugging into a network of people that I feel are trustable and reputable in the space. So people like yourself, Fadlan, people like Camille, if he's on today, people like Jason, people, and then people online that I follow, like BitBoy Crypto and a couple of other YouTubers, and then different rooms on Clubhouse to see what people are talking about. Then for me, I'm not getting in, I'm staying away from all DeFi altcoins just because there's too many of them. And it's like, for me, DeFi crypto is the same as, it's the same as stocks. Like, no, that's a bad way of explaining it. DeFi crypto is like, there's just too many. There's just too many people trying to do the same thing. Yeah, DeFi crypto is like getting in on an individual cannabis stock. I'd rather just get in on the industry because I know it's safe, I know it's secure, I understand it. And for me, I just try to minimize my risks, to be honest with you. So that's where then my idea for altcoins is a 6-month hold minimum, absolute minimum. But then obviously I'm charting them all up. So I'm looking at my other sell point would be the stop loss that I've marked for myself. So if it goes below the price that I've marked, then I'm selling, then I'm out. But apart from that, the use case, it's my use case theory that I always have to be able to build is, would I use this, or could I convince someone to use this website for the application of that blockchain without it being a coin? If yes, then it's usable. Like SIA, like what I could explain that to my mom. It's online storage, but you're paying £2 a month instead of for 1 terabyte. £2 a month for 1 terabyte of cloud storage. So yeah, that's how I do that.
Thank you very much. That's great.
Cool. See you later, Sarah, if you got to bounce. Next person. Yo, by the way, actually, because I forgot to do it, I'm going to do it again. This is, and then I want some more questions. Where is the pound sign? I'm so used to using $sign. Yo, am I that retarded? I don't know where the pound sign is on the keyboard. Anyway, my Cash App is this. Any donations made today for today's call will be going straight to charity. I'm going to be building an investment account for charity, which I'm going to be trading and growing. So all funds, anyone that donates to me giving this lesson, they're going to help build a water well. Okay, cool. So next person. Anybody else? There's 18 of us. Someone must have a question.
Michael.
Yo, fire away.
In the next 5 years, where could you see Tesla?
That is my favorite question. Let's just have a look at their earnings report. Let's just have a look. Let's just do the maths here. Storage deployed, up 199%. Solar deployed, up 59%. Supercharger stations, up 45%. Supercharger stations, up 41%. Then I'm going to show you how I do my calculations on my price targets, because that's something I needed to do with you anyway. So I'll go to, what the hell is the name of the website now? Not Yahoo Finance, not ETFDB, Macro Trends. Okay. So my price target for Tesla is 2,000 minimum, just because it's an energy company. It's also going to be in the semi-truck industry, and Tesla are going to be, well, SpaceX is putting over 10,000 rockets into satellites into space, so they're going to be able to control their own internet and generate their own energy, and they're going to go into mining, and now they're in crypto. So, and then as soon as they've got enough crypto in reserve, they are definitely going to allow people to buy their Teslas with Bitcoin, and people will do that, even though that's the stupidest thing you would ever do. People will do it. So, I just think potentially 2,000 in the next 5 years. Well, actually, probably not even that. I think it could hit 3,000, because if you just take one part of that company, let's just take. No, it isn't Macro Trends. What the hell is the website I go to? Why is it not in my favorites? Hang on a sec, let me check my research folder. So yeah, if you just take one section, let's just take just trucking alone. When Tesla has the semi-truck, which is the basically big trucking, once they have that running, and it's already going to be cheaper than traditional trucks, plus the companies are going to be able to get them to drive themselves. Why would you pay for a driver? Just think to yourself, what in the world right now can be given to you without coming off a truck?
It's true. Even the same as trains, though, as well, because most of the stuff starts with trains, then onto trucks, then onto the shelf.
Yep. There is literally nothing that I can think of that doesn't involve the truck. Even getting my hair cut, because someone's got to get the clippers. The clippers have got to come on a truck. The broom, it's got to come on a truck. It's got to get delivered. The world we live in now, trucking is so important, but nobody is paying any attention to the fact that Tesla are getting in it and going to be making trucks for cheaper that don't need drivers, that won't need updates and servicing. So that market alone, I think, is worth them being. That's a multi-trillion-dollar industry, that alone. And if they become the leaders in that, wow. Then you've got another section of Tesla, which is the robo-taxi. That alone is a trillion-dollar industry as well. Then you've got the energy industry that they're in, with the storing the solar power and then selling the solar power to other companies. And then you've got the car company, last but not least. So yeah, that's my opinion on that one. 2,000 or 3,000. I am holding Tesla to the moon, because people just don't do the research. They just don't read these earnings reports, and they just don't know what's actually happening with this company. And also in terms of the energy, the EV play. So this is something that you're going to want to research. Research the amount of nickel that is actually available in the world versus how much nickel Tesla own in terms of the mines that they've got access to, versus the predicted amount of EV cars that are going to come out now that every man and his dog's getting on it. And again, people want to compare NIO to Tesla. Just on the, like, NIO isn't an energy company. It's not doing trucks. It's only released like 300,000 cars. Like, Tesla is going to be doing around 2 million cars from one factory. Like, it's not even competition. And they've got 3 factories. NIO doesn't have a factory in the US and one in Berlin. And so, yeah, that's that question out of the way. And then, yeah, they're just, and the speed of it, it's doing 0 to 60 in 2.1 on the new Tesla. 2.1. Oh, wow. No, I'm wrong. 2.0. It's ridiculous. It's actually ridiculous. These guys are taking the piss. And they've got more mobile data than anyone in terms of data from self-driving. and then they're going to let other people use their charging stations and sell them data. Like, come on. So yeah, that's enough of my Tesla rant. I can go on about them all day. Next question.
What's your preferred trading app for crypto, or not trading, investing, I should say?
For long-term investing.
Yes, sir.
It's a tight squeeze between IG.com and crypto.com. For cryptos, crypto.com. Just because I like the visuals on it. I think it's easy and simple to use. Binance is a ball ache. Oh my days. Binance is just too complicated for no reason. IG, just super simple for stocks, but for cryptos, crypto.com. Yeah, that's my two. Then if I also get some stuff on my phone and I use Freetrade for that, because again, it's so simple, so simple. If you drop me a message, I can send you my referral links to Freetrade and to Crow. I think we get £25 each on Crow, and on Freetrade, I think we get a free stock worth £30 or £50 each, and then on IG, I think we get £50 each if we both use IG.com. So hit me up. Next one. Try and find this website. Yo, Rich, you must have a question.
I do have a question. I'm waiting for everyone.
Well, you want to go last?
Nah, I might as well throw one in now. Okay, so in terms of altcoins, what is your opinion on using the volatility just to kind of make some money in the short term, and then obviously having the bigger things that you're going to have for your long term? What's your opinion about kind of flipping the smaller altcoins? And if you're about, what strategies are you using to generate the quick cash?
Yeah, so that I would only recommend flipping in and out of altcoins like that if you can read charts. If you can't read charts, don't do it. You're trying to do orienteering with a blindfold on when everyone else has got an iPad. Like, why would you do that? Like, why would you try and compete and get in and out of things when you can't see what they're doing and you don't understand what they're doing? So for me on that, I would only do that like that. For altcoins, I haven't seen anything that I've charted up so far that I like the look of to do that. Everything that I've seen, I want to hold it for long term because I like the use case. So I'd have to see an altcoin that I'm not too sure about, but unfortunately most of the altcoins that I see I'm very sure about, so I haven't really been given an opportunity to go, oh yeah, okay, I'm a little bit iffy about this coin, let me get in it and then trade it. Actually, in fact, there is one. In fact, let's just mark it up now and I'll show you exactly what I would do in terms of getting in and out of it quickly. Is Win. So this is a coin that's just completely based on gambling. And if you know how I feel about gambling, I'm like, yo, I'm trying to build a house. I'm not trying to gamble. Like, why would I do that? So this is their coin. So first of all, I would look at it on the 5-year. Pretty flat. 1 year. Year to date. Okay, cool. So year to date, you can see it's moving up. So then what I'd do, whack it in a trend line. Cool. So I can see that's moving up. So I would probably get in this here, to be honest. So this would be an ideal time to get in because it's bounced off this trend line. So then from there, I would check my CCI. That's down. That's good. I check my RSI. If that's down, I'm in. Then from there, I would then mark off my exit point. So my exit point would be if it goes below 25. If it went below 25, I'm out. But yeah, I'd ride that from here to, with crypto, I'd want 200x, 200%. So I'd want minimum 200%. So I think what you'd have to do is calculate take profit points with it. So for me, I'd want a 25 to 1. So if I'm putting in £1, I want £25 back. If I'm putting in 100, I want 2,500 back. Then I'm coming out with crypto. So that's how to do that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, you would just mark up and figure out what 25 to 1 is on this. Because then if you lose the one, the tenner or whatever that you've put in, you don't mind. Whereas kind of cycling through different cryptos, let's say for example you got £1,000 to play with, and just putting in 800 into this, taking it out, putting 800 into that I just don't think works as well as having a systematic approach to knowing when you're getting out, when you're getting in, what you take profit is. That's what I'd say on that. Cool. Yeah, 25x for life, bro. 25x or nothing, bro. If it's not 25x, I'm not interested. Get me. And then last question, because we're on 9:28.
Go on, I'll go again.
Go on.
Let's circle back to Tesla a second. So when it comes to Tesla and stuff like that, I always try to look at the smaller pictures as well. So all the things that are associated with it, for instance, graphite and things that are conductive and the parts that go into the vehicles themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I invested a while back in a company. The ticket is NMGRF. Can't pronounce it because it's a weird pronunciation. I'll give it a go. Novumu Mode Graphite. It's a Canadian company. The government have backed it. And I'm currently 47.99% up.
Jeez.
So I'm thinking, do a hold or do a sell?
Was it a company, did you say it was?
It was a company, yeah.
What's the ticker symbol?
So it's N, which is November, Mike.
Yeah.
Golf, Romeo, Foxtrot.
Mike, Golf, Romeo, Foxtrot. This one here, Loma Negra Campania.
Yeah, that's the one.
How do you find this shit, bro? Like,
No,
you are an absolute Jedi.
No, that's not the one. Hold on. I can't read it. It's a bit small. No,
Loma Negra Campania Industrial Argentina Sociedad Anónima.
No.
I was like to myself, how did you find that?
No view. Oh, I can't pronounce it. NMGRF.
NNG.
MN. No. November Mike. Golf Romeo Foxtrot.
November Mike. Golf Romeo Foxtrot.
That's its ticket. It's a US stock. Well, Canadian technically.
Nah, it doesn't come up on here.
You need to change platform, mate.
What have you found here? Well, actually, you should have it on TradingView, innit? Because they've got everything. So let's go all.
November Mike.
November Mike. Foxtrot Romeo.
Hold on. Let me double check it. No, November Mike Golf Romeo Foxtrot.
Oh, okay.
That's the one. So obviously, I'm thinking as Tesla and NIO and companies like that become more and more popular, it should keep pushing the price of this up too.
Jason, you are something else, you know.
I'm trying to find where it says my history on this. Got it here. What?
What I'd do, just looking at this, I'd clip a bit off the top.
Yeah.
So I'd clip about 10% off it and then carry on.
Thinking the same, to be fair.
And then just have a stop loss literally right here. So I'd have a stop here. Just underneath that gap. So if it goes below where it gapped up, so you see this mad gap up, if it goes underneath that gap, get out.
Yeah, man.
I think that's because this whole mining thing, bro, like there's not enough nickel, graphite, or lithium for everyone to make these cars. Exactly. So the value of them and the mining companies are going to go through the roof in the next 2 years, because basically there's only enough for two big car manufacturers to make electric cars. So
I want to hit 50% up first.
Yeah, you can definitely hit 50 on that.
I know. That's what I'm thinking.
You're on what, 43 now?
47.99.
Yeah, bro, you clear, bro. Clear, easy, 100. Right, guys, it's been an absolute blast. Really enjoyed today's call. Been amazing. Again, record numbers today. Please share. If you want to do an individual session with me, just shout me. I'm more than happy to do that with you, to look at the fundamentals or the technicals on something. Yeah, hit me up, guys. It's been a blessing. God bless. Namaste. Power to you all. Power from the Most High. What up? Oh yeah. Please take some pictures and share this, please. Please, guys. Please. That's the one thing that I do ask, is that people take pictures of this and tag me on Instagram in the call. Say that you got some value, because I just want to get as many people learning as possible. Just the basics, man.
Yo, drop your PayPal or the Cash App or wherever you're taking donations on.
Okay, cool. Where is the chat? Oh yeah. So taking donations at my PayPal, which is see what we see 360 at Gmail. And if Waj is still on the call, I want you to help me figure out which country we're going to build a well in. Why does it keep doing it directly to Jason? Oh, okay, there we go. See what 60 at gmail.com. So donations. Here, or to my Cash App, which is Mr. Harding. I want to get this well built, guys. Let's get it done. Thank you very much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure. Like I said, please take pictures, please share. I've given out plenty of value. Just want to give it out to more people. Like I said, anyone that wants one-on-one session going over the charts or fundamental research or any questions on any individual stocks, hit me up. Love you all. Peace out.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you.
No worries, man. See you in a bit. Bye.
Thanks, bro.